Hello, hello. It's Making Comics Now. I'm DJ Coffman,
My name is Jim Rugg.
and this is Making Comics Now. And today we're going to talk a little bit to Jim here and Ben Perkins, the artist on the interior of the book. This is Jim's wild cover. We're going to talk about that. Talk about Jim writing. Kate's going to join us briefly for some news in a moment or two. And then Ben will join us at about 12:30, and we're going to jam on. Oh, I also threw your sketch cover on here too.
Nice.
This is one of the one sketch covers for this issue that Jim drew. I just love it. I love that. And there's the color version. I did misspeak, Jim. I said that this was a ballpoint pen. This is not one of your ballpoint pens, but
No, it's an ink wash, which is something that I don't do very often. So, it's funny how this stuff goes. I had done a Twilight Zone cover around this time. The Twilight Zone cover was an ink wash, and this is what happens. You start playing with materials, and now I have all the materials set up next to my desk. So the next cover that comes across, this is where my brain is. You're thinking in that mode of, hey, this is fun. What else can I do with this?
Yeah, this is this is the Twilight Zone cover, right?
Yeah. And you can see thematically related. So you can see why my head was thinking, maybe I could keep this ink wash and astronaut theme going a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't know which one was done first. It's possible the Adventurous Astronaut was done before Twilight Zone, but either way, the ink wash was kind of fresh in my mind. And, I like to mix it up as people get to know me, as the VeeFriends audience gets to know me and sees more of my work. They're going to see a lot of different materials, right?
Yeah.
The ballpoint pen is near and dear to my heart. DJ, we were talking before we came on here. I want to do a ballpoint pen cover for VeeFriends, so possibly the next cover that I produce. That's certainly something I'll be thinking about.
Yeah. Hey, everybody in the chat, if you've got questions, you can hit us up, or we will do some question answer in the next part. Kate will be joining us soon. We've got some news, Kate news real quick, and I think Kate will join us around 12:05. I'm real excited. Like, boy, we are on a train right now. What did you say you did? Well, we just released Rare Robot last week or the week before, and now we're at 2 a month. So this is the first of the 2 a month schedule, and it's pretty awesome. I think Jim, you were just saying that there's a lot of excitement going on that people can't even.
There's so much. We talked a little bit about coming to New York a couple of weeks ago now. To meet with Gary and the team and to talk through a little bit less creative and a little bit more of just kind of the business marketing, what's coming up in the next 6 months and in the next year for us. And that's a lot of energy and a lot to think about. And, part of the excitement for me with being with VeeFriends is beyond the creative, right? This is a really different experience for me. Like, I've spent 25 years sitting at the drawing table doing the creative part. This is a chance to kind of like even take a longer view of comics. I was telling my wife about the experience of the getaway, the couple of days when we were meeting, and I told her I had no idea how much I don't know about comics. And that's really exciting.
You mean the business side of it, or
just all of it? The sales, the business, the distribution. I have a lot of experience in comics, obviously, but it's on a different scale. This is a major publisher. This is kind of going through traditional channels. It's building new channels. It's a lot of stuff on a scale that I just have not been a part of. And it's really exciting. I've gone through a lot of phases as a fan of comics, as a reader. And I always tell people, if you get tired of whatever comic books you're reading, look for other comics. And I've done that myself many, many times, right? I grew up reading Marvel and DC and loved that stuff for years. And then I got tired of it and I found alternative comics, and I spent years and years and years reading alternative comics and loved that. And then as I got tired of it, start reading manga, start reading webcomics. And I kind of feel like for a creative, anytime you can mix that up, it's fantastic. And that's what this experience has been for me, is just a lot of new stuff. After 25 years, I can't tell you how exciting it is to actually be doing a lot of stuff where it's like, all right, give me, let's figure out how to do this thing I've never even really thought about before. And, you mentioned I wrote Adventurous Astronaut. This is the first time I've written a comic for another artist to draw. And I'm super excited to talk to that other artist, Ben, today. I think we're going to have a really great episode today. Some cool stuff planned. But to your point, there is so much energy around at least my practice right now. I'm, writing and drawing a new book right now for VeeFriends. I can't give any details away, but I can tell you that it is really going great. Last week, I did 4 pages complete from layout to finished color, lettering, drawing, all of it. This week, I wrapped up line work on page 4 today. This is day 4 of the week, so I'm hoping for a page a day output this week. So, you know,
which is nuts.
I'm sure you've experienced this, DJ. People that are watching at home, if you have some kind of creative, job or hobby or something that you have some creative output, you know what it's like whenever you're in that flow, in that zone where it's just coming. You know, it feels like you are doing it right whenever that's happening. And that's what I'm in the middle of. That's what you're catching me in right now.
Yeah.
By the way, I quit coffee 6 months ago. So this is not me being hyped up on caffeine. It's just creatively right now, things are really humming along. And, that's a palpable feeling, I think. So it's pretty exciting from my point of view. And I'm so excited to actually talk about some of the stuff that I've been doing. I've only been at VeeFriends. I think this is 4 months. A lot of that stuff, we release these books in a very deliberate way to promote them as they get released. I haven't had a chance to really share any of this. And today's really the first day I get to start talking about it and start showing the world what I've been working on. So
it's going to be a nonstop train too. I know. Can't wait. Even us, when we were in New York a little bit ago and doing breakfast and dinner together, it was just like nonstop. Like, what about this idea? What about, oh shoot, like this plot, and like the pieces that Gary gives us, we were like, whoa, wait, what if we do? And like, we're still doing that, to this day. Almost every day we're like jamming back and forth. All right, I have a special guest. We're going to talk about this because one of the things that Gary wanted us to do, and he said at the summit in August, he's like, I really want to support the artists. He really believes in Artist Alley. He believes in like our individual artists, our cover artists. And if you have other projects and you're working on a VeeFriends project as well, we want to help amplify that. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Kate up to the stage. There she goes.
Oh, hi guys.
Oh, hello there, Kate. Did we catch you at a good time?
God, I hope so.
So Kate has some news. Kate, I just want to say the project that we're about to look at was one of the ones that basically made us bring you on full time. It was a project you have been working on for a long time.
Yeah.
So Kate has a Kickstarter going on right now with another publisher, which we're fine to support.
No, they said they hate me, actually.
What? Well, then they're fired. We'll just forget it. Never mind. Tell us about this Kickstarter, Kate, and I'm going to pull it up too on the other screen so that people can see.
Yeah, so this is my first ever Kickstarter for my completely original comic. I wrote it and drew it. It's called Devil in the Herd. It's a supernatural Western horror story. Supernatural Western religious horror story, I guess.
Okay.
You could say. It's got a lot of parts, but it works, trust me. So, inspired by some of my time in the church, inspired by me living in the Southwest and being a farm kid as well. So, I always thought cows were really creepy sometimes, so there's a lot of that in it. So it's just kind of me exploring a lot of those themes while embracing my cowboy roots as well.
Yeah, and I remember, I've been following you. We already talked on a previous episode. Everybody should subscribe and go watch our previous episodes. But I remember seeing these pages. I've been following you for a while. You were posting stuff like these horses, and you just draw fantastic animals. And this,
I still don't believe I do, but if you think so.
Me and Gary were talking about potentially doing a rational rattlesnake something or other at one point early on. And I said, oh my gosh, I just saw some awesome rattlesnake art. And I proposed, like, what if the VeeFriends could look like real animals sometimes? And he was like, let's play with that. So when I showed him this art, he was like, oh my gosh, this was before you came on for Harpic and everything else too in the Viking. So, so the link to the Kickstarter is in the description, the page description here, but of course we want you to hang out. This is available for many days, so just bookmark it.
We reached our fundraising goal within the first hour or two.
Congratulations on that.
That was so cool.
That's great.
So we've now reached our first 3 stretch goals. So of course hoping we can get to the biggest stretch goal. It depends.
I like to be able to do this.
I had a question about one of your upcoming stretch goals, so I hope you reach those as well. But stretch goal $7,000, it
Whoa.
says newsprint added to every print order. What does that mean?
Yeah. I pitched this to the guys, the publishers, and I wanted to kind of make a newspaper that would, like, just a front page that would highlight some aspects of the story. So we'd have like our main character, like a small story about our main character in there, about how he was like found innocent for crimes. We'd have like a small story in there about how there's been a mysterious figure spotted in the desert, and just kind of almost like a prequel thing to the story. So I thought it'd be fun to try be a journalist for that. I thought it'd be an extra fun, little bonus.
Well, I hope you reach that. I'm a sucker for newsprint, and that sounds like a really good tie-in. So good luck on that. Everybody in the chat that hasn't joined, go support, because I want to see the newsprint.
Go support.
Okay.
And
For
share
Jim only.
Yeah. Kate, you already know I added the hat to my.
Yeah.
Funding, of course. You got me with the
Well,
hat.
you can't show everyone your beautiful, luscious hair ever.
I know.
So.
Never. Yeah, no, I could never do that.
Yeah, look, he has hair, guys, and it's
I'm
really
not bald
pretty.
under this hat, I promise you. Cool. This is great. I'm excited about it. Again, there's that VeeFriends connection, because without her putting this work out, how long were you working on this, Kate? This project?
Longer than I should have for its length. Like it's 32 pages in the end, and I was working on it for like 1.5 to 2 years.
And then we slowed you down.
Yeah, it was because of you I had to work on it so long. I mean, I wasn't working on it continuously. It'd be like sporadic, like go really hard for 2 weeks and then not touch it for a month, and really hard for 2 weeks, as is standard for this industry.
I think that's probably standard for almost any creative industry. If you're not doing it full time, or if you are working full time for someone, even within comics, within any entertainment field, you sort of have to find time to do your own projects. So I think everybody can learn a lesson from that, Kate. Well done on the perseverance of sticking to it and finding that time, making the time to do your own work.
It got harder after VeeFriends, but I still wanted to see it done. So. And
I said yesterday on my stream that I don't think issue 9 got enough love. It's just so good.
Me and Allie are working on that. So.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see more of Kind Warrior. And for those that are in the whatever, if you want to buy issue 9 or 7, we have a code Making Comics now. If you just Making Comics, is that it? Uh-oh. I'll get it right. 1 second.
They can't use the code if you don't say the words.
No, right? We just made it. Making Comics. If you use the code Making Comics, it's $5 off any comic that you buy in our shop, and the link's below. So that's good. I hear water running.
Yeah,
it's not me.
Okay. I don't know. Oh, there it's gone.
Stopped.
Okay, it was a ghost. Ghost of the machine.
Oh, great. We're talking about creepy things, so.
Yeah, you're bringing your haunted comic to our podcast here, Kate.
Good.
Yeah, so Kate, I'm excited to see that, and we can't say what you just worked on now, but you just wrapped up. Let's talk about real quick what we've wrapped up for VeeFriends. You wrapped up a new issue.
Yes. As you know, it was a big challenge for me because it's very different from anything else I've drawn. So I was complaining most of the time.
Oh, it wasn't. It's challenging.
Yeah.
But you know what we say about challenge brings a change.
And we should say you wrote, drew, and colored the new comic. So it's another 8 production.
Yeah, this is my second VeeFriends comic. Yep.
Yeah.
That I wrote.
For those that don't know, that's exactly correct. Usually the members on our team are doing the pencils, inks, colors, all of that. So when you look at this, I'm not going to show the mirror board, but there's pencils, there's inks. Your colors are amazing. Of course, I love them. You know this. I don't need to tell you this. I don't need to.
Yeah, I mean, you could say it more,
but and your character design and all that is amazing. And that's pretty much what Jim's doing, what I'm doing, like what Chris Faison does. There's a little bit of teamwork that we pitch in for occasionally. And of course the writing. We don't have an editor. We should probably get an editor at some point.
We should probably get an editor.
Yeah. Because we
should keep that to ourselves.
Oh yeah.
I can have one.
Well, we're working on it.
It's too late now.
For any editors out there, please reach out to us. How about that?
Careful what you wish for.
But yeah, this is such a great book. And also a reminder real quick that you can read and watch the comics for free on our website, VeeFriends.com/ that's not it. Where is it?
And you can try find the spelling errors or non-existent editor.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It happens in all books. It happens in Marvel and DC all the time too. So,
yeah.
Like Gary said, let's not focus on what's not important. So, but yeah, you can read and watch most of these for free right on our website. And we love to hear what you think of the comics, because we're doing such a range, and it's getting crazier now with issue 11, issue 10. We're going sci-fi, we're going adventure. It's pretty nuts. So
yeah, every genre.
Yeah.
Kate, I wondered if I could offer you a piece of advice.
Oh God, what?
Put your name on the cover. Your name should be on the cover of Devil in the Herd.
It will be.
And if I were you, I would put it at the top. And I say that based on, this is what Stephen King does. So I feel like if he's
I should make my name just as big as the title.
That's right. That's right. Make your name as big as you possibly can. If you have to, break it into 2 lines, right? Then you can make it even bigger. But put your name on there. You worked hard to make this thing. Let people know. And like I said, I pattern all this stuff after Stephen King. He's still out there selling books and promoting books. And you would think if anybody could kind of take it easy and maybe not do that, it would be Stephen King. But he's still active and goes to book events and everything. So I would say the same thing to you and to everybody who's making anything, is put your name where it can be found. I used to do a podcast and people would send us their books. And the most frustrating thing would be, wow, this looks really cool. I can't find contact info, who made this. So be proud of it. It's an awesome work. You certainly put your heart into it. So put your name on it. Let everybody know who's making this.
You know what? I never put my name on anything. You know what really made me change my mind was I got to meet Mike Mignola 2 years ago, and you guys know he's my favorite. Hellboy's my favoriteest thing ever. And I gave him some of my Hellboy pieces of art, which were really good, I think. And he was like, "Oh, wow, these are really cool. Where's your signature?" So
exactly.
Lost a job there.
If he could only find you.
I gave him a business card, but that's just another piece of paper he can lose.
Right.
Okay. You're welcome to hang out with us if you'd like. And we're going to talk to Ben here shortly. I think Ben's queued up.
If you want me to, if you
don't have anything better to do.
I finished making my content for the day.
You are done with your issue, so you can get
rest
those fingers a little bit.
I was going to ask that. Do you take a little break after you finish an issue to clear your head, recover?
I'm trying to, but I am promoting a Kickstarter right now as my break. So I might learn a new banjo song. I think I'll do that today.
I would love to get your I'd love to get your Kickstarter up over $10,000. I mean, I see these Kickstarters that go nuts. So hey.
I was creeping on Jim Mahfood, and he got like $80,000, and I was like, "What?
Bananas!
That's possible."
We got to get Jim on here too at some point too. We're going to talk to everybody at some point. We'll talk to everybody.
I have this sense that like the energy around comics is just going crazy. I'm friends with Jim, and I follow him on social media, and it's like he's touring with his podcast. He's doing that original art expo, and then he's doing a tour that's like East Coast. I don't know, half a dozen shops. And it's just like everybody I know who's really in this, it just feels like there are all these opportunities and everybody's doing everything right now. It's amazing, but we should schedule some Jim Mahfood time, to your point, DJ. It just might be down the road because like everybody else, it seems like he's very booked up.
All right. Yeah. Well, Ben's waiting. Let's dive right into it. What do you think? Are we ready?
Sure.
Ready for Ben? Yeah. So I'm going to put my Miro board back because I was going to wait to unveil. I mean, I know that they showed the cover already on some of the socials, but we could talk about it and dive right in. So let's bring Ben up. And we'll just do this view. Look at this.
Hey there. You guys hear me well?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Welcome, Ben Perkins.
Perfect.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, we dive into this stuff.
Right, let's do it.
Some of the books that you've worked on, Deathslinger, Ghost Agents, a lot of fan projects like Kayfabe Death of Superman, 1963 annual, Weapon Ek. There's a lot of interesting stuff in your journey, Ben, that I hope we get into. But we should start with the reason you're here. You know, you drew Adventurous Astronaut. Congratulations on delivering a very, very beautiful book.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity. Dream come true, to be honest with you. And I felt comfortable that I was able to kind of rise to the challenge and just kind of do some really fun comic, right?
That's not all it's about. Before we get into the comics making, we've got to ask, do you believe in aliens?
Well, you know, the Fernie paradox, right? That's kind of like where I lean. You know, there's a podcast the other day saying that, I think it was one of those support, blank support. It was Bill Nye talking about, we will find, like, wherever there's water, there's potentially life. So as far as there's aliens. If they are intelligent enough to want to visit us, I think they'll probably steer very clear.
I'll agree with that.
I also have, I think we're safe to show, because we've done the legal review. It says here we've done the legal review. So we can show a little bit of the pages, maybe walk through it, not a full read through. I'm going to put our faces even smaller there, I think, on the side. There we go.
Sure.
But just looking at this, like, here's some of the sketches, the thumbnails that come in. We call them thumbnails for cover ideas from Ben. You can kind of see how we ended up. This was actually wonderful, this sketch here. And we actually used a version of that for what became the bag art, the blind bag art over here. This isn't the final blind bag art, but this is the working blind bag art. Beautiful stuff.
Thank you very much.
I think this cover turned out fantastic.
A lot of
look at all this detail too. You're crazy. You're crazy, Ben.
Yeah, I think I have a problem. I definitely have that, like, it's obsessive compulsive. It never used to be this way. I was really heavy, stark black and white, like very Frank Miller influenced. You know, Toth cartoonist kind of thing, but now I just like noodling, you know, the graphophilia kind of thing. Yeah, it's very satisfying.
Well, it works great for alien tech, that is for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like the Kirby kind of it's kind of like it could work. You kind of like do whatever.
One of the things.
Are you guys familiar with Mark?
I am. Yeah.
Tell us.
So it was a PBS show, and it was who like helped you world in 3D using cones and cylinders and cubes and all that. It's pretty much that to the, you know, that's kind of.
That's an interesting origin story for learning how to draw spatial.
Yeah.
I feel like that's always the challenge, is any kind of perspective or depth on a 2D surface. So
hard.
Yeah. It's all magic, right?
You know, the first thing that you turned in, Ben, were the layouts for this book. And DJ, you could show us the layout if you maybe if you drag that top page off a little bit. The layouts, Ben, just kind of like blew my mind. And it was something I wanted to hear a little bit more about. If there were artists, if there was, I don't know, film, if, you know, is there an influence there that kind of helps you in terms of layouts? Because I found them to be very dynamic.
I don't know where the layouts are at. Are they under here?
Well, Jim, I want to first mention that validates me so much as a cartoonist. You have no belief. But no, I don't know. Just whatever it feels right. Right, you know. I do intake a lot of comic books. But you know, as far back as like Eisner, Grandpa, you know, like everybody kind of like falls into the mix, you know. So, you know, I don't really. I just read a page and it just zaps right. Kind of like I usually kind of lay out the shape of the panels first, kind of fill it in with any kind of directional kind of stuff, and then I can kind of flow. Because the page layout design, I think, is the most important. Everything else I can kind of figure out on the fly.
Yeah, I don't have the thumbnails aren't on here anymore. So, but they were pretty cool. They were definitely like, we were all like looking at your thumbnails going like, man, we got to step it up. That's what
That's exactly.
I always say,
Yeah.
it is.
yeah, it's very. I appreciate that. It's really nice. It's the funnest part of making comics for me. It's that jigsaw puzzle. You know, wham bam, just kind of push through it. You know, one of my favorite panels to look.
Yeah, that's a killer image. Yeah, the layouts are interesting. That's a good strategy too. I remember whenever Neil Adams passed, Larry Hama gave a little tribute, and one of his quotes was Neil Adams would tell him to try to draw the stuff that he's imagining rather than the stuff that he knows how to draw, which sounds a little bit like what you just said, Ben, you know, trying to draw stuff that maybe you don't know how to draw and figuring it out.
That's a good lesson too, because in that process, you get to learn how to draw everything. And so I think that's one of the things I feel like I really kind of want to feel is like I can just draw anything, even if it's like my style or maybe a little bit cartoon. You know what it is, and I can angle. You know, I think that's important. You know, to do as a comic book artist. You know.
Here's some of the original. I think this was the first things that you drew and sent us after we sent you the script. Some of the
fun stuff. The script was phenomenal. I mean, I couldn't. It was very, very fun. I mean, the layouts weren't that hard when you have a script that's like that bouncy, kind of light, and just kind of really like. The pace was really the layouts had to come to match that pace. You know.
This is so wild. This one's so. Oh man, I love this so much.
I got so excited when I saw these sketches first.
Believe me, there's some Alien fans right now in the chat, like losing their mind. So
it's one of the fun
that was
parts
fun
of being,
too.
In a team. Is seeing everybody's reactions to these things, Ben. It was something that was coming up again and again.
Oh, that's so fun. But the back and forth with kind of honing in on that alien design too was a lot of fun, and like cool guys let me kind of mess around with the appendage. It was a lot of fun to kind of recreate.
It's such an important part of the book, your ability to make the alien be able to morph and change shapes, you know, to accent the adaptability of the character. I don't know if the book works if you weren't able to nail that part. So it worked well.
Well, and that's
Ben, let's talk about this.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What do you want to talk
about? Go ahead. Finish your thoughts. Sorry.
Well, DJ, at the end there, you kind of like added that bit where he morphed into the more classic version, then morphed back. And I thought it was like, okay, bring it on. How can I figure out how to do that? You know?
I was going to say, let's talk about this madness. I'm calling it madness because I think there is a trait in most comic book artists where you're doing so much detailed stuff. And when you turned in this Oval Office scene, number one, I don't think I've ever seen an Oval Office scene in comic books. And when you turned this in, like, look at all this line art, not like this with all these people. I'm like, Ben, this was not necessary to draw this many people. And how long did this page take you? You know?
Longer than I think it needed. I mean, you can tell by how I squeaked in at that line how long these pages were taking. But I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You know, it's kind of well worth it. The like the Ronald Emmerich like Independence Day kind of like you know, we're here now, and now this is happening. So he has those classic White House scenes where everyone's frenetic and like, you know, bullying each other and yelling, and so I had to represent. You know.
Well, mission accomplished.
I think I would just die if I had to draw a circular room. No. And then you just put people in it like, no.
Well, and everybody's doing something. That's the fun of it, right? I mean, I can kind of cast all these characters and I can be them for a moment, kind of get in their heads. It doesn't get too happy about it because I have to spend a lot of time at the table, but you know. It's worth it in the end.
As I've said before, a person once told me comics are a harsh mistress. So, yeah.
Comics will break your heart too. Isn't that what was that Schultz or Kirby? Remember?
That was a Kirby quote.
I thought so. Yeah.
Okay.
lots of things can break your heart, and that's just part of life, right? So,
So might as well get a career that'll do it.
yeah, just get a career that's going to constantly break your heart over and over. No.
You'll be hardened and ready for the world.
Well, we're taking a
Wow.
deeper look here at some of the. Now, this was.
Taking a dark turn on the dialogue here today, guys.
I know. um, this is pretty cool. I just wanted to show this scene. Of course, Jim. Now, you like Ben said, this was the first time that you've written a script for someone else to draw. How are you feeling about that? And then when you saw the pages that were coming back from Ben, what was that like?
It's mind blowing because, you know, I'm writing the same way I would basically write for myself. And if you read this, you know, read that big panel that we're seeing that cutaway of, he completely over delivered again on this page, because in my mind, it's like, I just need a room with some high tech looking stuff. And you're doing a cross section that's like revealing the layers underneath the Earth's surface. It's such a great interpretation,
It's
but
almost
also completely different. So, you know, as pages came in, and especially the layouts were very tight, and you could see like very clearly what you were planning, what you were doing. And it was very different than what I had pictured in my head, and much better, to be quite honest. So I think I got lucky with, you know, working with you, Ben, as being one of the first artists that I've worked with, because you kind of took a, you know, a basic guideline in my scripts. They're pretty stripped down. They're pretty straightforward, describe, you know, what I think needs to be in that panel. And then you make them so elaborate, you know, you sort of illustrate them. I know that sounds obvious, but whenever I'm drawing for myself, when I'm writing, I have an idea in my head already, you know, so it's almost like these are notes for me. Sometimes I even do sketches as I'm like writing stuff down for myself. To see it come back fresh like that, and it was page after page where it was like whatever I had in mind, it was better than that, it was different than that. Kind of mind blowing. I can see how people who start out as writer artists sometimes migrate to be more writers, because it's pretty exciting to see the artwork coming in.
Yeah.
Got some Men in Black here.
I just and to be all to impress the hell out of you. Yeah. I mean, see, so mission accomplished.
Yeah, another good example of page layout. You know, I do a lot of on my own work. I kind of work on a grid, so a lot of 6-panel pages, 8-panel pages, 9-panel pages, and you know, I mix those up to create variation and stuff. But this is totally off the grid. Do you ever work on a grid, Ben?
I try to sometimes. I do like the math of it, you know. So I do like to section off my page by ninths. Like kind of, it's like whatever the page dictates. Kind of like, you know, or maybe like that. The big sell for me on that page analogy through the rest of the background. And yeah, I don't know. I do sometimes work with it, but sometimes I kind of like to bend.
I remember whenever this layout came in, and the background wasn't all drawn, because how would you do that in a layout, you know, in a thumbnail? But there was a note on your layout, and it was about making the tech cover the background, you know, the background of the page. And I remember thinking, yeah, that'll be really cool. And I was right.
I think it is. It looks kind of cool.
It looks fantastic. It's a great way to break up a page and to kind of unify all those panels. It gives you some freedom in the panels too, because here you have aliens standing in front of just a yellow shape. If that were a white page background, it would look like, oh, he's cutting corners. You know, he's not drawing backgrounds. But it's the opposite. You know, by drawing the background throughout the entire page, it allows you to simplify these panels. You know, I think I read that comic strips were an influence on you early on. And I feel like having those kinds of panels where maybe we see an expression and that's more emphasized than, say, perspective background in the panel, it kind of reminds me of comic strip storytelling in that way.
Yeah, like those little peanut strips, or if you take away Charlie Brown and line, all you have is like a couple of lines and a thing for the grass, and that completes the sidewalk they're standing on. Like, yeah, I totally get that vibe too. Yeah, that's a good observation.
Were there any highlights, Ben, working on this? Anything that you walk away from and go, man, I love this scene or this character or this element? Anything stand out?
I'll tell you what, it was a moment, and it was when we were going over the thumbnails, and you made reference to something about having like layouts that were banger on every page, and then we got to the after the blast off when he's leveling out into space. That's the page I really like, and I think that was the highlight. But the crowd scene where the fireball is coming down on the city, and it's the 360 view, and every corner or every border of the panels, the street level looking up. That was a beast, but that was so satisfying to have get done. And Chris's colors on this, again, you say getting surprised. I was getting blown away too. It was like making choices I wouldn't have made, but all the better for it.
You know what? That's a good point. I don't know if we mentioned that Chris Faison, another member of VeeFriends Comics team, is the colorist on this issue. So certainly we should give him some love because the colors did bring a lot to it.
Oof.
Yeah,
these
got it
pages are
done
great.
so fast too.
Yeah.
But that's all Chris ever does is speed.
But that's the name of the.
Yeah, this is awesome.
I'm sure it had these guys sweating a little bit.
That's an unbelievable panel.
Fantastic.
One of the highlights that I was going to mention, and Ben, I agree with you on the couple that you mentioned. I love that blast off scene, and I remember us talking about that and how well that turned out. The spaceship designs, you do a couple of spaceships for this comic, and they're fantastic. They feel like they're waiting to be toys. I don't know where you come up with spaceship designs.
Here we go.
Wow, that's a good question.
There they are.
A lot of it, I like toys, and I like
Makes sense.
toys. He-Man was a big thing for me. But that was the directive. He said make it look like we could have it as a toy. But then the American flag motif and just trying to find this Art Deco eagle, trying to mush that all together. That was the goal. I wanted to be like America, let's go, right? So yeah, there was a lot of. I tried to blend all that together to try to make. I feel that page wasn't as successful because I think I like the design of the thing, but the angle and the perspective, I think I kind of flubbed it a little bit. So my only criticism of the whole book would probably be I probably could have executed that page better, which is the clunker because it was like the big reveal of his spaceship, his hog, as it were.
I don't know, man. I feel like it looks pretty good. Although DJ, I wouldn't show that one. I feel
I'm
like
not going to show it. Yeah,
can't give away everything. But
no,
it's a killer ship design. Very cool.
It is a killer ship design.
Made me think of some of the
I appreciate
sci-fi movie Ralph McQuarrie and Sid Mead kind of designs and stuff. So it was great to see that.
Those are
certainly not a strength of mine.
So you hit it right on the head.
Yeah, somebody asked, D Busy asked, did we discuss the cover already? We kind of glanced over it, but this is the cover from Ben. This is cover A. And also it's the first time we've started to put some call outs because we figured people that just see this without the words on it, and they might just think it's just an alien and astronaut. Of course, we want people to know the names of the characters. And so that was Ben's issue. Yeah, it does look really good. And of course, the back cover, by the way, when this is all glitter, I don't know if I have one. Boy, I'll look. I'll go look. It'll look really super nice with the shimmers and stuff on the back of this. So,
that's awesome.
And then this is Jim's copy, or cover B. And
X-Files.
Okay, I wanted to do something different.
Feel to it. I like it.
Than Ben, and Ben had sent in sketches, thumbnails. Again, we showed those for his possible cover. So once I saw his cover and kind of saw his approach, it allowed me to okay, go in a different direction. The worst thing you'd want to do is have two covers that look too similar. So that worked out well. I feel like it's very different approaches.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of so many cool options. Go ahead, Kate.
I was just going to say, I remember when Jim showed everyone his cover, and I think we got to see both at the same time, and we were all like, oh, so this is going to be a really cool book then. This is going to be really cool.
I love the part on your cover, Ben, that looks, it's awesome. Like storytelling. The old, for people who are maybe new to VeeFriends, Comic covers have changed a lot over the years. You know, in the 60s and 70s, they were what were known as story covers, where like you would get a real feel for what was happening inside of the comic. Now, a lot of times it's a cool money shot of the character, something like that, what might be called a pinup cover. And Ben, I thought you nailed the story element by having Alien, you know, kind of crouching behind astronaut in the shadows. It's pretty easy to see this image and think about what's about to happen here. So I thought that was a nice side effect.
Look at the details on this gun.
Thanks. Yeah, I yeah, that's
so much.
I think
another point.
we lost you a sec, Ben, but go ahead. We'll wait for you.
Another ray gun. It's like another like idea for like a toy kind of design. Back.
It totally looks like a toy, and it actually looks like it could be a working squirt gun, like the nozzle and the trigger.
The mechanics and everything.
We need to put these into production.
I mean, you have to think about these things, right? At least I do. I don't know. I'm obsessive, so I mean, everything has to kind of make sense to me before I can like send it out there.
Whenever I'm making mechanisms, I always do I stand by the when in doubt, black it out rule. So whenever I'm drawing something like that, if I don't know how it works, just that's where the shadow goes.
Yeah, really beautiful. Beautiful work. How many pages? Like we were talking earlier with Kate and Jim, and it's important for people to note that we were all raised on this, like, do a page a day, and that was like pencils or inks, like not full color pages. Tell everybody about like how, you know, what your workflow is like on these. You know what I mean? Like,
well, the first page I did color, but my coloring process was taking quite a while, so that's why we had to have Chris come in, because I wasn't able to do that. But project, it was probably like maybe like a couple pages. I don't know. I can't remember what my flow was, but take my thumbs, blow them up, refine them to pencils. Once those are like, you know, approved or whatever, then just take it to inks, and then so forth and so on to color. Again, I didn't get to color this one, but the flow, I was when clipping, it was like about a page I could get the full color done. So I was averaging about maybe 3 colored pages a week at my prime. I'm a crazy person too, and I just don't want to do anything but.
Those are the types of people that we like to work with. So
that's what we all are here.
We love the passion of making comics for sure. And what did you feel like? Because we're doing this a little bit differently. I always say we work at the speed of Gary. And of course, it still takes 7 weeks or 8 weeks to make a comic book like this, especially if you're a one-man or one-woman army. And
it takes me like 12 weeks.
Yeah. What did you think about using this system that we had? Because like usually you might get a script in a Google Doc or something like that, but we've working with this dynamic board. Like, tell us like did you like that? What was that experience like?
Well, you know, it was, you know, I've heard youth. First, it was now a couple of YouTube videos. I really liked it. It was me and some feedback. I had that editing the board, so I knew I could go check it out and see what was new. Very, very easy, friendly, very flowy, very fast. And like, you know, could connect system that I had my files on for me was the Google Drive, so that was really poured over. Once it was fun. I liked working this way. It was like a for the project.
I just want to look at the whole book now, but I'm not going to. But it's very tempting.
Leave some whimsy.
I will. We'll look at more next week. Yeah, this is super.
Ben, I came across kind of researching you a little bit. I came across your Mount Rushmore of comics. I think it's from an interview maybe a few years ago.
Okay.
And the names on there were Miller,
Actually,
Eisner, Mignola, Smith, and Klaus. And I thought to myself, Smith, is that Paul Smith? Is that Barry Windsor Smith? So can you tell me what Smith that is?
Barry Windsor. Barry Windsor.
oh man, if you told me the year, then I could tell you. I think maybe at that time, that all seems to gel with that time when I was doing the heavy contrast. So it probably would have been Paul Smith, and he had that book in the X-Men, and then Leave It to Chance, and that changed a lot of cartooning ideas I had for stuff I wanted to do.
Yeah, it's funny. The other names are so distinct. I like that you go with the first name on Klaus. Klaus
Right.
Janson for anybody that isn't familiar. But the Smith threw me, and it's interesting because looking at your figures, looking at your figures though, I do see some of the Paul Smith stuff in there. He's kind of this classic clean line, very expressive in like facial expressions and body language and stuff. And I did see some of like his figure work and facial expressions felt like they were there in your work. So,
And this is not from our project. I'm not sure the name of this book, but I was showing here on the screen.
This is Death Slinger.
This is Death Slinger.
Yeah.
I love that cover.
Showing this is the show. These are the samples that you posted to us, and we basically take the samples we get, post them on a board, and we find the right projects. And so we were looking through and going like, ooh, sci-fi. This is definitely a sci-fi guy. And we've got a couple sci-fi projects that we are thinking about, but definitely we saw that you like these crazy aliens and like the coloring and just amazing. So like this, I like to show, we just showed what got Kate the job. Like this is definitely like these are the samples that we were like, wow, this is the guy for this one.
Amazing.
And these giant monsters too are pretty cool as well.
Giant monsters are always cool, DJ.
Pretty cool if we had a giant monster comic.
Yeah, Kaijudo is that's amazing. I don't know what that's from, but that's, if somebody doesn't have that trademarked, you should run off and do that, Ben.
It's actually
right after this.
I wrote it, but it's a card game and like a video game. Change it to Kaijitsu, but it doesn't have a good flow.
Kaijitsu is pretty strong too. I think that would work. That would work for me.
We have a person in the chat said, Ben's a good guy. He did a cover for my upcoming comic. What's your upcoming comic? Plug it. Say it in the chat.
I was going to say, this goes back to me telling Kate to put her name on the cover.
Yeah.
How do you make this comment and not give yourself a plug?
That's what this show is for.
I guess just look for Ben Perkins covered comic books out there if you want to track that down.
We'll a few of those comics.
And like I said before, like we're always about promoting, like the coolest thing that Jim gets real passionate about, I know, is that there's more and more people now, more than ever, that are making comics out there that you don't see. And we would love to highlight that. Like anything that we're doing, and we have Memoirs of the Morbid is what it's called. So when you guys get that going, let us know and we'll reshare it.
Oh yeah, that's a good cover.
Yeah, for sure. But we just want to amplify this craft as much as possible, and that's why we call the show Making Comics Now, because we're kind of doing it a little bit different. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Ben, you've been making comics a long time. I think we're about the same age, and I think we've been making comics for about the same amount of time. And so another thing that I came across is that you've made a lot of comics for, I think you described it as private clients, firemen, accountants, lawyers. I always say, like, everyone I know in comics gets in a different way, and then the gatekeepers sort of board up the opening. However you found your way into this industry, the next person's got to figure out a different way. The private clients is something I haven't come across very much. Can you tell us about that for a minute or two? Like, what is that?
Yeah,
how do you find that kind of work? Like,
I more of like it found me. I was making comics. I had the dreams of like trying to get into Marvel or DC and stuff. And I realized that it wasn't practical. I had two stuff. So what I ended up doing was just hobnobbing with people that like comics, and then word got around that I drew comics, and then, hey, do you want to draw a comic for me? And I'm like, yeah, I charge X a page though. So, and that kept me going with, it was like side, money, because I had main, 40-hour week jobs and stuff, doing a lot of different type of stuff that I didn't want to be doing. And then I just came across this guy who had, the budget to pay me. And for 7 years, I worked on a book for his, and we revamped it, rebooted it and stuff. And all of that to the light of day. I make it continue that stuff, but they honed me on just put Craigslist ads out. I had Nathan Corey, was an MMA fighter, hit me up to like do a. So it was just kind of like, have pencil draw your comic if we can work on a budget that is within your range and something that I can justify spending my time on. I was kind of working it like a plumber. If I'm going to spend 10 hours on a page, then I kind of want to justify at least making minimum something like that. And a lot of the times I had to, it wasn't lucrative by any means, but the value of the knowledge of the practice. My accomplishment, I spent my life making what I've always wanted to do.
Oh.
Kind of dropped out a little bit, but
Yeah, lost that
back.
last bit.
Sorry about
I also
that.
oh, no worries. I
I'm
also
in a weird area here for my life.
you're in Portland, right, Ben?
Happy Valley, technically.
I feel like Portland is kind of a cartoonist capital. For a long time, everybody I knew either that made comics either lived in Portland or was moving to Portland. Do you have a group of cartoonists there, like local? I hate to say support group, but sometimes it feels that way.
No, we all need it.
Well, I'm kind of a hermit in that way. I used to be plugged in. Like you were very right. Like about 2000 and 2005 was like the great pilgrimage. People were coming in, because Bendis had moved here, Faction had moved here, Oeming had come here. So there was a like huge push for like, okay, now this is the cultural right now. Now that's kind of how it here, because people. So that was a good gateway to and stuff. With Aaron Stewart, we had a book that we had, and then after a while, just wasn't profit, and it's kind of hard to describe, but like we had like a local kind of indie Comic Con, mostly for comics, but then after a while, it just kind of got bought, and then it just became bigger, and then everything else in the sink, and I just wanted to get back to just pure talking about. So I haven't tabled in a long time, associated with all those people. I'm still friendly with them, but I just kind of have to do my own thing. Not really get sucked into like what culture people were up on at the time. I didn't really want to get influenced that. I think it sounds kind of.
I saw you.
But I just was. I just kind of want to, like size it out.
Hey, it makes total sense to me. If something's not working, make a change for sure. You also have done a lot of fan art. It's something that Kate has done. It might be something all of us have done, to be honest. I feel like this industry, this art form sort of invites that. So, you can find your tribe in a lot of different places these days. It's not like it has to be neighbors or living in the same city anymore. You're able to connect now with people all around the world. Makes a big difference. Yeah, I was going to ask, came up in the chat, but where should people go find more of your work, Ben?
We're right now. You can hit my Gmails where you can hit me. And I have an Instagram. It's Brady Ben. For some reason, I can't get into it right now, but I'll fix that, and then we can talk and stuff about art and comics and all that. So yeah, Brady Ben on Instagram is usually a place to find me.
Do you do commissions, or are you open to other work right now, or like what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, after this, I got out for my friend Roy. A little 3-page. It never stops. I just every day I like so. As long as I can keep it, that's what I'm going to do.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
Next
Thank
week.
you.
Next week, the bomb drops. No pun intended. The whatever's dropping on the Earth happens. This is the drop schedule for Adventurous Astronaut number 11, comic book number 11, VeeFriends number 11. Sorry, Adventurous Astronaut, featuring both Adventurous Astronaut and Adaptable Alien. There will be a holder pre-sale, so everybody that has the NFTs and the digital collectibles, they get 30% off, starting on the 11th at noon, and then the 12th at noon, which is next week. And I think that's when, I'm not sure if we're doing a show right at noon. Maybe we should, Jim. We should just make the Making Comics a drop show, and then we can just read through the issue together. I'll have you read it. 15% off at shop.veefriends.com. We also have the back issues in stock of all of our comics. Well, not all of our comics. Some of them are sold out. If you want to go to VeeFriends, and the shop is in the link in the description, and we actually have a code called Making Comics, which is $5 off every comic for our back issues. I'm just plugging this real quick, just because. And I want to say one other thing too to everybody. Yeah, Making Comics is our code for $5 off every comic in our shop. So that'll tell them that you're listening and that you're watching our show right now, and that you've used the code. And, you know, I believe, you know, we're still looking for artists. So for different projects, like I said, because there's different genres, there's all kinds of stuff. Ben filled out this form, right, Ben? This is how to do it. We won't, you know, it might not be for everybody. Making comics is very hard. It's a very hard thing to do, to finish. And we're looking for, you know, all kinds of variety of art. So there's the QR code if you want to pause this and scan it. And right after this show at 1 o'clock, we're going to end right at 1. We're going to auto animate our premieres for animations of issues 7 and 8. So Ninja, which Kate drew, the Ninja comic. So you're going to see the animated Ninja. I've only seen the whole thing once.
I haven't seen it at all.
It's awesome. And then the show, when I end it, will auto direct you to the premiere of those animations. So for those that don't know, we actually do all the comics will get animated. So Ben, I'm looking forward to whenever your book gets animated, because these different styles being animated is insane. Like, let's take a look
That's
at
fun.
even just VeeFriends 9 isn't done yet.
No.
5 was definitely one that was done. So you can actually open it up and go watch. If you hit watch, it pops up the animated versions of our comics. This one's for mature readers. So, oh, there we go. It's pretty cool. We've got quite a machine going at VeeFriends here, and it's fun. Like, the comics are the engine of the storytelling, but then we definitely want to expand into animation and other ways that people can absorb, because some people get confused about how to read comics. We're hoping we're doing a good job of educating people on how to do that and read more comics, but we want to make sure that these stories get put out in every single way that we can do in the future. So I can't wait to see your art animated. I've already seen a little bit. Have you seen, Ben, some of the stuff that's on our Instagram and stuff with the animated?
I've seen this.
I don't have it.
I haven't seen anything else.
Yeah, there's some of your art from the book that's being like animated, like with some of the explosions and like the asteroid coming down.
Wow.
It just looks super cool. Follow us on Instagram. You'll see
Wow.
VeeFriends Comics on Instagram, or VeeFriends. You'll see some of that stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot more.
I'm horrible at social media.
And I just want to say again, Ben, thank you very much for making me look great. Your art is astounding in this issue. I couldn't be happier with it. I hope it was a good experience for you. It seems like you put your kind of blood, sweat, and tears into those pages. And I thank you for that. They look fantastic.
And love too. Mostly love. But yeah, thank you for the opportunity, man.
I should lead with that.
Nowhere. Yeah, it was well. Thank you so much.
Let's do our final rounds. I'm going to tell you to read and watch more comics at VeeFriends.com/comics. Jim, would you like to say anything?
thank you everybody for tuning in this week. You know, we love doing this show, so we'll see you again next Thursday.
Kate?
Go support my Kickstarter for The Devil in the Herd from Invader Comics.
Link in the description still. And Ben?
You know, the only thing I can shout out is my buddy Rob Jones going to have a Kickstarter for students. I did some art in for some art. So that's the newest thing I have coming up. So check that out.
Awesome.
Oh, I should plug something. PowerPulpComics.com. It's a bunch of self-publishers. So if you want to see more comics and a lot of different comics, PowerPulpComics.com.
I thought we had that on here somewhere. Oh.
We'll hit it more next week.
All right, we'll hit it more next week. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
That's great. Awesome, everybody. Thanks for joining. We hope to see you next week. And